All right, welcome to the next installment of the Willet Speed Cutting Carrot Show. Is that what we're doing today?
Nope.
No. All right, so tell everyone what you're going to do today.
So today we're going to cut some carrot flowers. And I guess I'm going to go through the steps and then we're going to see if Diane can do it as well to get more practice. So normally, I guess I'll show you one normally.
Okay.
We'll cut a segment about this big. So about 2.5 to 3 inches.
Okay.
Step one, which I think is actually one of the hardest steps, is creating 5 equal sides.
So a pentagon.
Yep. And I actually haven't really done this in a while.
Okay.
So I'm actually kind of nervous. You always come up with video ideas without warning, so I don't ever have time to really practice for my videos, which is fine.
YOLO.
Don't really have time to practice, but more than 5 minutes notice would be good.
Ooh, it kind of bleeds maroonish.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. It's like a beet.
So this was something I did pretty regularly pre-COVID for the side salads at Burger Chan. So after my initial cuts, I need to go back and fix it a little. I need to look at both sides to kind of see maybe something is fine on one side, but not as good on the other. So this initial step is kind of the most boring, but also the most important, because if you don't get your pentagon right, you're not going to have a very symmetrical flower.
So technically a pentagonal prism.
Sure, yes.
Mm-hmm. It's a little distracting that the core of this carrot is not perfectly in the center.
That's true. So when you do a solid color, so the yellow or the orange, it's going to be much easier to get in the center. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this.
Okay.
So both sides, and typically due to the shape of a carrot, one side is probably just going to be bigger than the other.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be exactly the same size on one side as the other. It's okay for it to taper?
Yeah,
okay.
It's okay for it to taper. If you don't taper, then your carrots are going to be limited by the thinner section, so they're always going to be pretty thin, but I like having some bigger pieces too.
Mm-hmm.
So the next part is going in the middle of each side.
Okay.
And just going in with a little cut. So sometimes I need to close one eye so I can see that I'm actually in the center. This step, the only thing I would say is tricky is depending on your carrot, it's going to change how hard you push.
Mm.
So sometimes the carrot is soft and you push and your knife just goes straight through it and you can't make flowers out of it anymore. Sometimes it's really hard, but if you come up close to see, I'm not going in a whole lot.
Okay.
Just a little. And we're going to do that 5 times.
So notches.
Notches, yep. Now I want nachos.
This is what the diet's doing to you. Oh gosh. It
What?
like severely zoomed out for a split second. Oh, so I guess we're not doing stars then.
We can also do stars.
Okay. Do you think it's harder to do flowers or stars?
It's harder to do flowers.
Oh, well then I wouldn't do stars.
Okay.
I mean, you can show flowers first. Where did you first learn how to make flowers?
I first learned how to make flowers at I Love Sushi on Lake Union.
In Seattle?
In Seattle. I worked there for about a year. Okay, so I have my 5 notches. Okay, next we're going to make a special cut. So start at the edge. Knife is going to go inwards.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is kind of the small tricky part is now we're going to start cutting outwards. And then we're going to go and cut inwards again.
Okay, so I already know.
So if you do a top down, you might be able to see it.
Ooh, I don't know if I can do that.
So it goes in, goes out, goes back in.
Reminds me of the way that you peel apple skin, which I cannot do because I'm afraid of cutting myself.
And so we're going to do that a total of 10 times. So we'll do it 5 times this way, and then I'm going to turn the carrot around 5 times the other way. And then just have to see if we need to fix it at all. How does that make shiny? Okay, so that's 5 times.
I'm already thinking I just want like a slap chopper that can go straight down and skin the sides.
They do that. They make those.
Yeah?
Yeah, some Japanese restaurants use a tool. It's kind of like a cookie cutter.
Sounds like my kind of tool.
I think at Burger Chan, we strive to develop skills and keep them sharp, and so we don't have a whole lot of tools, so a lot of cuts are made by hand. They take a little longer, but I think there's more sense of accomplishment. Okay, so I've made my initial cuts. There are definitely some areas that I need to fix just a little. Maybe if I cut a small piece, it'll be more obvious, but
So pretty.
so I'm trying to see what shows off. So you can see right there, that's not good.
Looks like there's a plantain stuffed in a carrot with the coloring.
So sometimes it's just the way you cut your notch, or it's just the 2 sides you did just don't quite line up perfectly. I can see a couple of things on one side, not the other side. I mean, this is time consuming, so it's not something a lot of places do. I'm sure most places would probably think there are better things that my cooks could do than cut garnish. But in sushi restaurants, garnish work is very important. It shows this level of skill that your employees have.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. You can go really thin. You can also go thicker. Like if you had a soup or a stew, you could go anywhere from like 1/4 to a 1/2 inch and then braise it or cook it. You could, for a stir fry or for a salad, I would recommend thin just so it goes quickly. But that's it for the flour. And there's silly things you can do. I mean, you could cut at an angle. So you could, and this is just one type of flower. So there's also the more traditional sakura. And that looks a little differently. It also starts with a pentagon, but it goes a little differently. But I actually prefer the petals on this flower.
Are you making a spiral?
So I'm trying to give it a little depth. So here, when you cut this way, they're 3D.
What?
So this,
that's awesome.
You end up wasting quite a bit more carrot, but I used to do this whenever
it's like a pencil shaving.
I finish my prep early enough. So yeah, just like that, and that way they have more depth to it.
That looks like a really fat pencil. Okay, so now are you going to do stars?
Sure. So when one's first doing this and learning it and practicing, I wouldn't recommend cutting such a large piece, such a large segment.
Hold on, you're zoomed out. I don't know why it does that. Okay.
So I would recommend starting with like anywhere between like a 1/2 inch to a 1 inch segment.
For beginners.
For beginners. This way, each carrot you can practice a lot more. Mm-hmm. And it's easier to cut. The smaller it is, the easier it is to cut. A large piece is much harder to control.
Right.
So again, you start off with your pentagon. Okay, good enough. Mm-hmm. Whew, really out of practice. So let's see, if we were doing a star, then we would need to cut deeper, mm-hmm. and we'd be going in a straight line. Mm-hmm. And with such a small piece, well, I could do it like this. Go in the middle.
But you could cut top down using the tip of your knife.
Yeah.
Which is probably what I'll do. Because I don't like cutting into my hand. I'm always visualizing cutting, just slicing through my hand.
Cutting one's hand is a very normal part of cooking professionally. It always sucks. Might be inclined to feel embarrassed when it happens, but when you think about it, we cut hundreds, maybe thousands of times a day. If you cut yourself once a year, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. So this one, I guess, requires just really visualizing the angle so that you don't stray too far off. I've actually never cut stars. This is my very first attempt.
What do you think is a good age for children to start using sharp knives, relatively sharp knives, normal knives? Emoji Baby is 5. Is 5 too young?
5 is too young. In my opinion, I think all kids progress differently, so it's not like there's a magical age. I think it requires a good amount of hand-eye coordination. Mm-hmm. So a kid with exceptionally gifted hand-eye coordination probably could start at 5. The other thought for me is inevitably when you cut yourself, mm-hmm. I don't know if there's an age where it's too young and where a bad cut can harm the development of any muscles or tendons or anything. So that would actually be a better question for a doctor.
Yeah.
As to whether there's an age where an injury can be detrimental towards the development. Okay, so I'm pretty close. I got a couple of places I'm not happy with.
Kind of looks like the Houston Astros star.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm impressed.
And so you can cut slices out of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually some advanced techniques I've actually never tried myself.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one where you essentially cut at a angle like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do it on the other way so that it again has that 3D effect.
Mm.
So you can see there's some kind of depth. I'm not super happy with it. It's I've never done it before.
Kind of looks like a maple leaf.
And of course, you can cut out. And that's it. I guess let's go check Emoji Baby, and next up it's your turn.
Okay, let's do this. Let me know when you're ready.
We started.
Oh.
All right, we are back, and now Diane is going to try it.
Okay, so I am a pretty average cutter. I don't have any special training. So you said the first thing is to just cut small segments, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, for you, I'd go even smaller, but...
Oh, so like cut this in half?
Sure.
Okay. And then the next thing is to cut it in fives.
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, 4. How does that look? Terrible? I was just going for the number 5.
Yeah, so it needs fixing. The sides should be equal.
More angled? Oh, goodness. Okay. Equal. Let's see. Oh, gosh. The more I fix it, the smaller it's getting. Oh, gosh.
I also had those orange pieces that you could try.
Okay, so this is a fail. I don't know how much fixing I can do on that. Okay, let's try it again. So, cut, kind of visualize, cut, visualize. Maybe that's the key. I'm not very good at visualizing, and I'm just cutting. I feel like I should trace on there with mechanical pencil where I'm going first.
This one's better.
Better? Okay, what do I do next?
I mean, it's still not close.
Oh,
you
gosh.
can tell, like, this side is way too long.
Okay, so I fix it by cutting this one more?
So you can fix this by changing this side.
Okay.
By
cutting,
trimming, because both of these sides are too long, so this has to move up. And you can kind of adjust the angle a little bit too, and you can start little and take off more if needed. Okay, so you took off too much. 'Cause this side's too short now. So you have to cut inwards just a little.
Cut here? Like
Yeah.
this? I don't think I could be a cook.
Okay, that's close enough. Maybe just shave a little this way. This tip is too acute.
Okay. I mean, acute or obtuse? I don't know. Did that do anything?
You can tell from the other side.
I don't have patience for this. It's good enough.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
now
sure.
what?
The 5 notches.
Can I do it like this? Like this and like this?
Sure.
Oh, I'm kind of... Can I do it with the tip? I guess the tip wouldn't actually go through. Okay, I'm just gonna...
It would. You could.
Yeah? You think the tip works better or doing it like this? Oh God. Like, let me do what I think I would do without you here.
Sure.
Well, I wouldn't make carrot stars to begin with. Well, let me try the tip.
Are you doing stars or flowers?
I'm doing stars. What did I say?
I don't know.
Oh my God. This is why I wanted to use a paring knife.
Yeah, you can switch to a paring knife.
Oh my God, I just cut a huge chunk.
Too much. Now you have a chevron.
Okay, can I just call these Pac-Man and be done with it?
Well, more of a chevron.
How do I come back from this? I was thinking I was doing a star, but I think I cut so much that it's gonna look really ugly.
Well, for Pac-Man, you did too much work because Pac-Man is round.
I feel like this video is very instructive because it shows you the amount of skill that this takes. Because I watched the video, I filmed the video, but I didn't internalize any of the lessons. And it's actually quite harder, I would say, than it looks.
Well, only a handful of cooks at Burger Chan ever got good enough that I would actually use their carrot flowers.
Well, you definitely wouldn't use my carrot flowers. I'm going to finish what I started just to like see what I end up with. Because maybe it'll turn out. Oh God. Well, now that's definitely not turning out because I lost one of my pieces. This is so sad. Oh my God. And see, I cut it so close that like pieces are falling off. This is just the worst. I have no skill. Well, what this video proves is I really have no skill. So whenever you show something and then I show it, it's indicative of like the most basic no skill person. This is so embarrassingly bad, but it's okay because I don't pride myself in my knife technique. I give up.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not good at this at all. But at least I didn't cut myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't cut myself, and I have more respect for what it is that you do. These are, I mean, the thing is they look simple enough, and so I thought I could replicate it, but if you put it side by side, you can see which one was done by you and which one was done by, let's just call it our daughter. The end.